We disconnected. Fun times. Let's do this for now. I don't know where I fucking left off before it. Okay, blah blah blah. Raina was unusually fired up by the crowd. Neon's making small talk. Okay. Blah blah blah. Start. Creepy children laugh. Here we go. Bitch, I don't. Fuck off, Andy. I'm gonna skip through this shit once it lets me. Yep. Whoever the fuck Frederica Berncastle is. Ah. Okay. Not a real person. If you want to look up a spoiler, go ahead and do that. Really? Spacebar doesn't work? Phone ringing. Here we go, skip. Lagging like crazy too towards the end. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Okay, so where the fuck was I? Where the fuck was I? Where the fuck was I? Did I skip past it already? Okay. We'll just do... Well... Okay. Okay, yeah. Go for it, yay. Completely emasculated, the joined grouped Rika-chan in a cheer. The inside of the store was had been consumed by the world of Rika-chan. Damn it, she's already chomping at the bit. It seems like today's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do my best. It seems like Reina was also unusually fired up by the large crowd. Hopping about and running around, she had entered entirely into cute mode. In Reina's case, the real fun starts when her tension gauge fills up. Her happy-go-lucky attitude belied the fact that this was the state in which she was the most threatening. Mion was making small talk with some of the regular customers she was acquainted with. It was like business as usual with her. Of course, if anybody thought that Mion looked ordinary, they were not qualified to be in her club. The shadow beneath her feet was exuding killer instinct, rising up like a chill wind. Damn it, Mion, throwing away her honor and humanity like that? She's serious. Kage-san, don't you know? The 50,000 yen prize is from Mion-san's own pockets. She was putting out the 50,000 yen all by herself? At that moment, a dark miasma that warped Mion's surroundings began to appear. Let's just make sure. Yep, I am in fact still alive. Very cool. Okay. What is it, Kei-chan? Is there something on my face? A shiver crept up my spine. That Mion, cornering herself like that, she was pulling out the demon lurking within her. Fine with me. Damn it, my knees are shaking like crazy. Before I realized it, the store had filled up with even more people. However, the looks in their eyes weren't confrontational. I have so many tabs open. They were looks of expectation and curiosity. They were the eyes of onlookers who were wondering what kind of match was going to occur and who was going to win. You couldn't ask for a better stage than this. This is getting interesting. Kage-kun, let's do our best, okay? Do our best. Reina was already fully charged. Mortal laws and common sense held no power before the might of Reina in her cute mode. I definitely didn't want to fight her, if possible. Rika-chan, do your best. We're all cheering you on. Okay, I'll do my best. Rika-chan, who was exuding way too much charm no matter how you looked at it, had already won over most of the onlookers to her side. Nonchalantly avoiding things had always been Rika-chan's creed, but for her to be blatantly laying out her machinations like this, something was definitely strange. Like Reina, she was somebody who I didn't want to fight if I could help it. Of course, the one you don't want to fight the most is Mion-san. I've been lucky to even leave alive more than a few times at the end of our club activities, but I don't think there was a day that even came close to being this dangerous. Mion-san seems to have developed quite the grudge after losing that poker match a few days back, you know? It seems that way. In other words, today is just an elaborate stage for her revenge. Almost as though she were psychic, Mion turned towards us. Her eyes slightly conveyed the message, you guys just figured that out now? It wasn't just Mion, both Reina and Rika-chan were even more pumped up than they'd ever been. Yeah, one's gonna pop up today. Without a doubt, there will be casualties. Seems that somehow Kage-san and I are the only ones left. What do you think? Should we not have our match during the opening round? Might as well. I need to warm up before I can really kick it into gear. My spinal column shuddered like it had been struck by a bolt of lightning, and like a pillar of ice was being jammed into it, began to freeze. I could almost see the flames backlighting Sadako with her intensity. Even then, while Sadako was displaying a normal smile, it was cold and inhuman, almost as if it were a plastic mask. You must really want to eliminate me in the opening round. You can't hide that murderous intent. Oh, that's too bad. You're being uncharacteristically cautious today, Kate-san. Without a doubt, it was a trap. I don't know what she had up her sleeve, but if I fought with Sadako during the opening round, my loss would be even more certain. Would be more certain than if I went against Mion. A pitch-black miasma permeated the inside of the store. This switching of, like, the music. Did they all want to win that 50,000 yen prize that much? No, that's not right. The only ones competing for the prize money were the casual participants. I was different. I had mistaken this as just a way to fool around on a normal Sunday. It didn't matter when it was, or where it was, or who our opponents were. In our club, the goal is always the very top of the mountain. An intense flame that no strong winds could extinguish, hot enough to melt any steel, began to burn inside me. A fuse had been lit on this unprecedentedly intense club battle. It was then that the owner of the store told Mion in a lackadaisical voice that it was about time to begin. Is everybody ready? Listen close now. Mion began with the formalities, standing in for the owner, and explained the rules of today's tournament. You're only playing to win. There is no second or third place. That's the same rule as our club. There were 15 people participating. We were split into 5 groups via a draw, and each group would have one winner. Each winner in the first stage would advance to the next in order to compete in the final. Now, as for how each group will compete, each table can decide to play whatever they want. As long as the game is here in the shop, anything goes. Already in club mode DEFCON 1, I didn't let the small gap in the rules go unnoticed. Mion, can I ask a question? Won't everybody push to play a game they're good at and not be able to agree on which one? Huh, that's right. If we can't decide, we can't start. The spectators also nodded along. It was only natural. There wasn't anybody who would simply cede to their opponent's suggestion. I'd prefer if you were all good sports and managed to come to a decision on your own, but if it comes to a stalemate, should we have the store owners decide for you? It was an event at a toy store after all. You'd expect the owner to referee. After that, Mion's rundown continued. It ended with the rule that any losing participants would have to buy the game they lost at. A rather nice proposition for the store. First, we used a draw to split into 5 groups. Everybody lined up single file and began to draw tickets that the shop owner had prepared. It was my turn. Alright, time to draw. No matter who I was up against, I'd crush them. At that moment, Mion began to laugh with a hawkish gleam in her eye. Of course, I'm sure you already know, but club members will have a separate penalty game than the casual participants. I thought as much. What's the gist of it? The winner gets to give the losers 1 order each. Contrary to how simple it sounded, it was a terrifying eventuality, the subject of which no one could predict. Damn you, Mion. Was she really planning on parading me around Hinamizawa in cat ears and a banana hammock with a tail attached or something? The look on Mion's face told me she wasn't going to let me off that easy. On top of that, this time it wasn't just the person who finished last who'd have to submit to the penalty game. The losers get 1 order each. In other words, even if you don't finish last, you still have to do a penalty game. That'd be the case. What about if there's no winner? Like, if all the club members drop out midway through? Kate-chan, are you alright in the head? What? The look on Mion's eyes became that of a lion baring its fangs. How exactly are the elite members of our club going to lose to some mewling newborns? Kei-chan, don't embarrass me by getting eliminated in the first round. Even so, I didn't feel threatened. The more into it my opponent was, the stronger I would become. You just wait and see. I won't just sit here and be bullied by you, Mion. I'll show you. We shall meet in the finals. The results of the draw were enough to make you cry conspiracy. All the members of our club were nicely divvied up among the 5 tables. How did this happen when the draw was that random? The thought that I was already caught in Mion's puppet strings made me feel uneasy. That was fine, though. I'll crush all your petty tricks. Now, where were my opponents? Everybody was headed to the table corresponding to the number on their ticket. The competition at my table was these two. Huh. They look younger than me. Aren't you two classmates of mine? Oh, hi, I'm Tomita. This is Okamura. Okamura-kun greeted me by nodding his head. So my opening round was to be against my juniors from school. Just saying, but it seemed like a pretty easy matchup. Lucky. Time to destroy them without mercy. Alright then, everybody, please decide on your games and start. With Mion's declaration, the inside of the store suddenly became lively. Everybody was yelling their favorite games at each other, trying to gain an advantage before they started. Even my two classmates, who seemed taciturn at first glance, began to fiercely insist on their own games as soon as the signal was given. Of course I would kick those suggestions aside. There's absolutely no reason to pick a game your opponent was good at. Sorry, they're all games I don't know. Could you pick something a little more well-known? Of course, they didn't agree to the games I suggested either. I could only smirk bitterly. Naturally, after 5 minutes, this table still couldn't agree on a game. Obeying the rules, we asked the store owner to decide on a game. Clearing his throat, the shop owner brought over a board game from the back of the store. It was a game called Billionaire. Quite the vintage we have here. Come to think of it, if you lose, you have to buy the game. That damn shop owner was using his competition to get rid of all the games he couldn't sell. I know this one. You guys do too, right? Spin the wheel and head to the goal. Whoever has the most money after we liquidate all our assets is the winner. The two nodded in agreement, and finally the game was underway. At that time, I already had a feeling of impending crisis. I wouldn't realize why until the game progressed a bit. I don't fucking understand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Celebrate the birth of your child. Receive 5,000 from everybody. So it's like the game of life. Sorry. Okay, I've built a bit of a lead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bonus. Receive 100,000 from the bank. What? The tables were turned in an instant? 1, 2, 3. Proceed to the corporate ladder course. Oh, that's a good route. It seemed like only my piece was landing on the steady spaces. I had doubts as to why Mion didn't bring out board games for our club activities. But that reason was laid bare to me before my eyes. That's right. I only realized it now. This game was completely based on luck. What could I possibly do to make sure I ended up in the first place at the end? The ultimate outcome of this game was decided in a place beyond human hands. How are the other club members doing? My eyes naturally wandered off to the other tables. Mion's table was... what? They weren't doing anything? Had they still not decided on a game? This naive idea existed to distract me from the most frightening possibility. Mion was lounging about, leisurely holding some juice she'd bought from the vending machine outside in one hand. When our eyes met, she gave me a look of ease. It couldn't be. She'd already finished? What game was it? That easily? It was probably a bit too late to be concerned with that at this point. Only 5 minutes since we had started, and her two opponents were already beyond recourse. They were sitting there, slumped over in disappointment, muttering to themselves, trying to figure out where they went wrong. For that, they'd find no answer. Was there any reason for their defeat other than they sat at the same table as Mion? Then, what about Reina's table? The spectators were causing quite a commotion. It looked like their game was Karada. The shop owner was apparently the one reading out the cards. Reina tended to dawdle along and space out a lot. Wouldn't she have a hard time with this game? Then I'll read it out. The dog gets tired on a walk. Bam! At the same instant, the shop owner began sounding out the words. The card in question disappeared off the face of the table. No, the face of the earth. Impossible, where did it go? It was against Reina's cheek. She was rubbing it there. So cute. I'm taking it home. Looking at the card Reina was rubbing against her cheek, it was some anime-themed version of Karada, with rather cute moe illustrations decorating the cards. I don't know what Karada is. Basically, it was a picture of a pretty dog girl with a slightly large chest, panting and half in tears as she began as she was being pulled along on a chain. Nice. What's Carta? I'm curious. Known for its speed, memory, and cultural significance. So there's reading cards and grabbing cards. Players race to grab the correct card after a poem is read from its corresponding reading card. Okay. I'm trying to compare it to something I've played, but I kind of get it. With those types of pictures, even I could play with godlike speed. Of all people to play that game, it had to be Reina. It was entirely possible that her fingertips were on the verge of breaking the sound barrier. It's over. Neon smiled coolly. Seeing no further reason to keep watching, she turned back. So cute. Even if Reina wins, I'll still buy those cards. I'm taking them home. After that, the second card started being read out. Bam, bam. Such decisive sounds echoed. Well then, how about Sadako? Oh, she was playing a rather orthodox game. Concentration. Judging from the distressed look on Sadako's face, it seemed like she was struggling somehow. One of the main characteristics of concentration is that the pace of the game speeds up as it goes on. As the number of cards to memorize decreases, it becomes easier to match several pairs in a row. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the first person to take over the flow of the match can run away as the winner. Cards still in play have decreased. If you memorize the cards that have been turned over before, you should have a good chance to sweep the table at this point. Sadako probably knew the positions of all the remaining cards. However, her turn came a little too late. If her opponent followed up, the match would be decided. Hojo, sorry, but I'm also aiming for the prize money. Don't hate me for this. This guy, did he have the locations of the remaining cards memorized? He was completely certain of his victory. The tension on his face relaxed. It's over. I whispered that in a bored manner as I turned my attention back to my own game. I spun the wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? No way! The Ace of Hearts should have been here! There was a commotion at Sadako's table as the shot rang out. The other two at my table turned around in surprise. I didn't. After all, there really wasn't anything to be surprised about. The onlookers were confounded, most of them certain that the Ace of Hearts should have been there. There's no way. I must be seeing things. It must have been because I was excited. So assured in his victory, the distress over his defeat ran deep. That's how it is. If his opponent wasn't Sadako, then the Ace of Hearts certainly would have been there. What a fool. When you're up against Sadako, you can't let your guard down for a moment until the battle is over. Kage-san, you still haven't finished your match? You have no sense for these things. With a refined tone of voice reserved only for winners, Sadako called out to me. For the casual observer, it must have looked like she only eked out a victory. From my point of view, however, she was only playing around. The roles of winner and loser had already been decided. It was nothing more than child's play. The laughable part about it was that her opponent didn't know his role had already been assigned. Nice work there. Setting up a farce of a trap with the Ace of Hearts. My opponent only walked into one of my traps. Even then, one was more than enough. Sadako was a trapper. Her true talent was never having one misfire. Setting off only one trap was more than enough? That ain't that cool. The fact that the other club members were winning one after another with their own brand of play only added to my impatience and my own lack of progress. Alright, how's Rika-chan doing? How is our club's sly little fox doing? What the heck is that? Over in that corner, the mood at the table was decidedly different from the others. The game at Rika-chan's table was... You know that battery-powered fishing game? The one where the fish opened and closed their mouths as they rotated on the platform, and you used a magnetic fishing rod to pick them up? That old thing. I had one of those as a kid. I fucking loved it. It seemed they planned on competing by seeing who could catch the most fish, but it had become an atmosphere you could hardly call competitive. Wow, I caught one! You're so good. Rika-chan, you're good at this. Oh my, she caught another one. Rika-chan's really good at this. I knew that Rika-chan had already charmed her opponents, along with the onlookers, before the matches had even begun, but brilliantly played. That corner had become an informal meeting of Rika Furude fan club. It's Rika-chan's total victory! Total victory! Rika-chan's good at fishing, isn't she? What Rika-chan is trolling for probably isn't fish. Hearing that, she glanced over my way briefly. This is my way of getting serious, that's what I heard. Whatever. This is a masterful technique that only Rika is allowed. Only Rika can do. Yeah, a masterful technique. Maya Barasan, it's your turn. Oh, sorry, guess it is. 1, 2, 5 for tax evasion. Pay $50,000. In contrast, my game, what an unseemly situation this was. Noticing the uneasiness creeping across my face, my companions came to see how I was doing. Kage-kun, maybe you're struggling? You're struggling? Okamura, right now, how much money do you have? Okamura, who had wrung lots of money out of the elite course, began to count through a stack of white $100,000 bills. About 980,000, I guess. How much money do you have, Tomita? I have 880,000. I'm so close enough to turn this around. Those two, it looked like they would easily surpass $1 million. Well, Kei-chan, how much do you have? Neon's tone of voice was grim from the get-go. Was her disappointment and disgust as club president? Or it was. It can't be helped. There's no strategy involved other than spinning the wheel in this game. How am I supposed to cheat? Tell those two to close their eyes and count to 100 while I rig the wheel? You know there's no way I can do that. Rika-chan gently pet my head. Still, she wasn't too happy. How pathetic. At one point, I thought you'd be a worthy adversary. I've been utterly disillusioned. Don't give up, Kage-kun. There has to be some way to make a comeback. Do your best. Right till the end. Like I said, how am I supposed to make a comeback with this game relying entirely on luck? Right? Neon? Neon's face, however, was almost unbelievably indifferent, like she was watching something completely unexciting. Then she turned around without saying a word. Hey, it was a pathetic voice that irked even myself. I'm disappointed. Everybody was serious about this, but Keiji was the only one who wasn't. What do you mean by serious? Are you telling me to control the spinner through sheer force of will? How can I do that? If you were serious about it, you would have settled this game 10 seconds from when you started. Neon, you don't have to get so angry. Wait. Neon, in a bad mood, cast me aside and disappeared into the depths of the shop. Maybe it was because it had become an awkward situation, but spectators dispersed from around my table. Damn it, are you saying I'm not serious about this? Are you saying if I were serious, I would have settled this game of chance in 10 seconds? If I were serious, everybody was praying for my victory. They believed in me. Did I betray their expectations? Was it because I wasn't serious? Ugh. Should we continue the game? The two of them were timidly trying to resume play. I didn't respond to that. The table sunk into silence. Maibara-kun, should I take that to mean you're giving up? The owner, thinking I was forfeiting, started to announce the cancellation of the game. At that moment, the demon inside me let loose a howl and awakened. I get it now, Neon. What it means for me to be serious. I'll show you. Bam. I clamped my hands together. I clamped my hands on their shoulders, speaking in a low voice after pulling them closer. Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, let's make a deal. Let me win. The two of them, not immediately understanding what I had just said or the meaning behind it, were momentarily confused. Hey, Marabara-san, no violence. Let's settle this game properly. Just listen to what I have to say. What is it you guys want? 50,000 yen prize? Well, of course. Winning that kind of money is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even supposing you win. What are you going to do with that money? How are you going to enjoy it? The two of them considered it briefly. Buy a new game or something? Snacks? Maybe some juice? That's petty. So petty. Are you guys stupid? Then how will you enjoy it if you win, Mayabara-san? Me? That's the point. Just shut up and listen to what I have to say. We club members have a penalty game separate from the casual participants. If we lose, we have to obey a single command from the winner. From another point of view, the winner earns the prize of being able to order the other club members around. First of all, Tomita-kun, you like Sadako, right? Don't deny it. Next, Okamura-kun, you like Rika, right? Don't turn red. I drew the two of them red-faced and conscious of whether anybody else heard what I just said, even closer. Lollies, moe, pretty girls. What men covet, what men dream about. It's like an unreachable garden of Eden. Even then, you'd still aim for it, wouldn't you? That's because our passionate souls scream for moe. That sensitive age where you couldn't say you liked the girl you liked. Understanding that gave me all the more power. Tomita-kun, if I win, I'll make Sadako wear a collar and be your little sister for a day. A red fountain spewed from both of Tomita-kun's nostrils. Also, Okamura-kun, I'll put cat ears on Rika-chan and let you take her out for a walk on a leash. Blood erupted from the vein in Okamura-kun's forehead. Don't be shy. Just pretend I forced you to go along with me. The two are simply sacrifices to Maibara-senpai's whims. You can pretend to be against it. I understand. I know everything that your hearts desire. Then, I suddenly lowered the tone of my voice. My school life was very bleak. I know with my very body how foolish it was to waste such an important time in your lives. So, to you, my juniors, I don't want you to live your lives like that. Be honest with yourselves. Chase your dreams. Fulfill them. I'll fulfill them for you. I will! It was this moment that the values of men bridged generations. Mayabara-san! Could I ever have a mentor who spoke my mind for me so strongly? Never. There was no way there was. That's because in a man's lifetime, he'll only have 3 fateful encounters. That valuable first time was being experienced right this moment with these 2. It's fine then? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, game over! It was such an assertive declaration of the game's ending that everybody in the store turned and looked. It had been less than 3 minutes since I was on the verge of forfeit, and all the spectators certain of my loss. Okay. Cage-san, what happened? Who won? It was my complete victory. What did you say? Exactly how did you overcome that situation? There's no need to explain what happened. It was a gentleman's agreement, right guys? Yes, sir. The 2 of them, stifling tears of gratitude, answered strongly from the bottom of their hearts. Exactly what kind of miracle occurred here during those 3 minutes did the spectators all looked from my utter disadvantage. You did it! You did it, Cage-kun! Yay! The spectators were puzzled at how I was able to so quickly overcome that hopeless situation. That guy, is he able to control the spinner wheel with his eyes or something? It's a miracle! What devilry is this? He's in cahoots with that Mion, you know? There's no doubt he had some strange trick up his sleeve. I looked at the crowd, who couldn't help but be excited. Out of the corner of my eye, now fully awakened and in battle mode, I let out a derisive laugh. So, this is what it means for me to be serious. Mion. You took your sweet time. Baring our fangs at each other, we laughed together in a most unsightly fashion. I can't tell if it's gonna rain or not. With this, all the club members have cleared the first round then. Which means this time, it's a match against everybody. A match. I've already decided what I'm going to buy with the prize money. That's only natural, right? Sadako and Reina smiled, sneered at each other. These guys. They really think they can win against Keiichi Maibara when he gets serious? I'm gonna grab water. Mion, that was a mistake. You shouldn't have offered me advice just now. What a mewling newborn you are. You're a million light years too early to think you can win against me. Mion, light years are a measure of distance. Oh, she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed. What are we doing, Michan? How are the five of us going to face off? How? Well now, we have such a splendid lineup. It would be a waste to rush things. Mion is saying something complicated again. It couldn't be. Why you... Mion's hair flowed elegantly, almost like a cape, as she turned back to the table. As for today's contest, I, Club President Mion Sotozaki, will reserve judgment for now. The method and time... Wait. Oh my god, this fucking lighting. I didn't realize. The brightness on my phone was super dark, and I'm watching the stream to, like, just make sure it doesn't fucking disconnect you. It had, like, dramatic lighting. For no reason. Okay, that's better. Alright. A little bright, but it's fine. As for today's I will reserve judgment for now. The method and time are yet undecided. The more spectators, the better. It should be in front of everybody from Hinamizawa and Okonomiya. By then, we'll know the best way to finally settle things. Are you running away from this? This is too fair, this is too unfair, even for you, Mion-san. You newborn, do you still not realize what has happened? The combative aura billowing out of Mion's body formed a barrier stopping Sadako's advance. We'll meet again. Prepare yourself for inevitable defeat. With a shrill laugh, Mion left the store. The fuck? After a moment of silence, the crowd erupted in cheers. When will they resume the contest? Mion's serious. The other members did great too. That new guy, Mayabara, he's got some strange power. He turned the tables in an instant. Mayabara-san, you've got to win. Yeah. Lightning. Well, thunder, but, you know. Where there's thunder, there's lightning. Where there's lightning, there's thunder. So, pretty much the same thing. It's not, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I'll dunk someone like Mion headfirst into the river Styx for you. The part of the crowd that had apparently overheard the covenant between Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, and myself erupted into a cheer again. Mion's going to win anyways. She's the undefeated empress. I'm betting on Mion. No, it's gonna be Reina with that ungodly speed. Why did they take away the quotes? Sadako, the trap artist. Rika, the siren. It may be a long shot, but it'll be Mayabara. Or is this Keiji? However, right now, I had no ear for those cheerful voices. Setting the stage for this huge match and then running away like that, I wasn't going to forgive Mion. Outside the store, Mion was getting on her bike as the shop owner was seeing her off. Don't run away, Mion. If you're the club president, don't run. Fight me! Oh, sorry, Kei-chan. Right now, I've gotta go get to my part-time job. Huh? Like you would see in a sketch comedy show, my legs slipped in opposite directions until I was doing the splits. Yeah, while you were playing your game, Mi-chan received a phone call. It's too bad. It was just getting good too. Not our lucky day. They're getting crushed at the sale over my uncle's store. They don't have enough people to work the registers, so he called me for help. When you say your uncle, does he manage a supermarket or something? It's just a small store, but... Whenever you put stuff on special, all the housewives swarm in like locusts. Don't they have any common sense? Even though they don't have enough staff, they're selling a carton of eggs for 10 yen. Limit 1 per customer. I was a little surprised. You would never think that this was the club president exuding such a dark aura inside the store just a short time ago. It was the usual Mion right now, almost exasperatingly so. So it's like... Mion's fronting more. That's what I'm... I feel like it's still too early to make predictions about how shit's gonna go. My shoulders slumped. That's right. Club mode was over now, but it was really heated today. It was really fun. Damn, Mion, she really knows how to fire people up. Me too. I got so fired up my head started to tingle. Especially Kei-chan. That was scary. I thought he was going to eat me alive there. It's work, so I guess there's nothing you can do. But it really is too bad. I really want to continue this some other time. Any time is good. How about we do it at the Wadanagashi Festival? The cotton drifting 5-demon firefight. That's right. I'll think about it. Right now, what were Rika-chan and Mion talking about? Wadanagashi Festival? Cotton drifting 5-demon what? I love it when things turn out all over the top and manga-like. It'd be nice if we could do another thrilling club activity like this soon. She laughed with a smile that made you feel refreshed just looking at it. At that moment, the shop owner came out carrying a paper bag. I wonder what it is. Is he giving it to us? Thank you, everybody, for today. Thanks to you. The event went really well. It's not much, but here's a little something for you guys. Hey, Uncle Yoshiro. Isn't there a little something for me, too? My. Quite an adorable one, is it not? And Sadako and Rika-chan opened up the bag. There were cute little stuffed animals inside. Wow, they're so cute. Can I take them home? I really can? Which means there's something for me too. Oh, I got a pretty adorable one. It was a stuffed toy wearing a beautiful dress, one you'd use to play house. Reina's eyes were glued to my stuffed doll. Sadako was the same, and Rika-chan too? Kei-chan got the one that fits him the least. How do I say this? I could say it's pretty or cute. Well, I guess it's cute and pretty. I can admit it's adorable, but a doll with changeable clothes is... If you walked around with it, then you'd be treated like a weirdo starting tomorrow. Definitely. Mion didn't have to go that far. This wasn't something... I got feedback from in my I got feedback in my headphones before the lightning hit, and then I saw a flash. I was about to say I heard a flash. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Actually, take a second. I read a lot. There was one break, I guess. Has this been? I can look here. So like an hour and 15 total, because it stopped. I'm gonna move this light back. getting better at making my hair actually look presentable with the headphones. I'm like using it like a headband, so like this is pulling it back, and then you have like a little bit of bang here. Ooh. Mion didn't have to go that far. This wasn't something a guy like me should be carrying around. Mion was the only person who hadn't received a present. I said that like there was a Z in the word received. Received. Mion was the only one who hadn't received a present, so I thought about giving it to her. However, after briefly considering, I gave it to Reina instead. Huh? You're giving it to me? To Reina? Thank you. Just protecting myself. If I didn't give it to Reina, then walking the streets at night would be scary. No doubt, no doubt. I thought about giving it to Mion, but it just didn't feel right. You know it. I sometimes wonder why I wasn't born a boy. It's better that you're a girl. If you were a boy, I would have killed you already. You should kill me while you still can. If you don't, Kei-chan, you might not live to regret it. Mion laughed after saying such an ominous line. Everybody laughed heartily along with her. Ask God to make you a boy in your next life. I'll have him make me a boy. Then together the two of us will start taking over the country as a warm-up. Haha. Mion-chan, if you don't get going soon, the shop owner told her meekly. A lot of us looked like we were having a lot of fun, so it must have been hard to put a wet blanket on things. What are they called? Gacha? The turn the thing and you get a capsule. I saw a wall of them when I got to go to Tokyo with my dad when I was in high school. I think we like very briefly stopped in. It kind of looked like Akihabara, but I don't know how far it is. Maybe it was just an area because Akihabara is known for its like anime stuff and like game stores and things like that. A lot of us. I already read that. Later then. Today was really fun. I'll see you later, guys. Tomorrow at school. Don't be late for work. Everybody waved their hands and watched as Mion left. This is like creepy without even trying to be creepy. Before I knew it, the sun was already setting, and the breeze carried a hint of a chill. Should we play for a bit more in town? Or should we go home? The road gets scary when it's dark. Then, I guess it's time to leave. We certainly caused a ruckus today. We sure did. Okay, let's go home. The wind blew gently, as if to cool down those of us flushed with enthusiasm. The road to Hinamizawa was long, but I didn't really mind. My voice is weird. It's like my voice is cracking, kind of, but it's not at the same time. It's more in the inflection. It's kind of like it's cracking. Oh, that's right. Reina-san, you achieved an overwhelming victory, didn't you? When Reina gets like that, I'm sorry to say it, but there's no winning against her. Haha, it was because the cards were so cute. See, I bought them. Damn, where can I get these cards? I'm gonna try and not, like, talk a lot about, like, but, like, the other shit that I do on the internet. Fancy's being a little bitch and apparently, saying to people on an individual basis, but not making this clear in general communications they've had with their creators, that, apparently dog girls with, like, ears and tail, like, are too much. Even full furries are not allowed, which, like, we're talking, like, anthropomorphic, they have, like, paws and, like, but they're furries, they're not real. Like, going to be not allowed, or it's kind of becoming a slippery slope. And that seems to be the case, like, just real quick talking about NSFW creator shit. Skip if you don't care about this, I guess. I don't know, but, like, I can understand a little bit with, like, hypno stuff. Like, I see why it's, like, you know, they don't want, like, a guy to be like, oh, she hypnotized me into sending her $5,000, it's your fault, Clip Store, or Fansly, or whatever site. I can see why a site would want to cover their ass like that. But for, like, we're just like back in the Bush years, I guess. Like, I wasn't even alive for that, so can I really say? I don't know, but I also lived in, like, an area of the country that wasn't, like, the most liberal, like, when I was first growing up. So, like, we're just, like, what is this, like, Christian nationalism fucking puritanical bullshit that we're just seeing to, like on the internet? I was on, for the last, like, couple months on Twitter. I was also getting it, like, during, like, the election, like, stuff that was, like, more right, like, being pushed at me, like, ads and stuff. And then, but then most recently, I've just been getting, like, I would say, like, at least 60% of, like, the ads on, like, my Twitter as I'm scrolling, they're, like, Christian influencer, blogger, family creators. And it's, like, some, and then it's, like, a video of them talking and then, like, a caption where it's, like, I don't know, some, like, Jesus youth counselor type shit, where it's just, like, idle hands, like, I don't know, it's, like, shit like that. Maybe I'll find an example to put up, but, like, it's so fucking weird. Like, why is the internet not cool anymore? Like, why are we, like, I thought we were past the logic of, like, something, an equivalent to the, like, porn thing, where it's, like, you know, we need to, like, it's one thing, like, verifying creators, so that way when people upload content, it's of people that are of age and are consenting. That's important. Yes, I agree. It should be that way. But being like, oh, we can't have furry shit, or, like, what's another example? In mind-altering substances, i.e. you can't smoke weed anymore on Fansly, you can't do 420 content. Because it's like, oh, you're in an altered state, so you could be taken advantage of more easily, just, like, fucking victimizing sex workers. Like, you guys are fucking weird. You guys are weird as fuck, trying to, like, save people constantly that don't need to be fucking saved. Like, providing resources and, like, support is one thing, but, like, but yeah, that whole thing with porn, like, being overly cautious about content like that and TOS, it's like the same mentality to me as, like, violent video games are gonna make you a school shooter, and it's like, no, correlation is not causation. Like, it's not, oh my god, the minute you start, like, restricting things, it's some, like, hold on, Jesus fucking Christ. conversation. Oh my god. Jesus fucking Christ. I was comparing that to, like, the violent video games turning people violent. But I had a point. Oh my fucking god, whatever. I'll just continue, maybe it'll come back to me. No. Are you guys okay? Why do you both want up here on the desk? Yes, I know, calendar. Oh my god. Honestly, I'm gonna look back and see if I can track down. No, this is a Higurashi stream, goddammit. I'm really annoyed that I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it. Alright. Blah blah blah. Rika was the same as usual. When it comes to boys, it's like taking candy from a baby. It was an easy win. How much was calculated and how much was natural? I get scared when I think about how Rika will turn out in the future. We will come to find out. Jesus Christ. Wait. Stop. Super high energy right now, out of fucking nowhere. Sadako-chan was amazing too. The way it ended really exciting. Was really exciting. It wasn't the sort of game where I should be complimented. Oh ho ho. Keiichi also showed your fangs at the end there. Well, I guess. I'm the type of guy who's strongest when he's cornered. Tomita-san and the others seemed to be cheering you on really hard. What was that about? He made some sort of promise with Tomita and Kokomura. It's probably a secret.
Secret? A secret? I wonder what it is, I wonder.
I'm just like making fun of all of them with my voice. Sometimes for a man, there are times we can only understand one another by fighting. Wahaha. Desperately laughing, I frantically tried to avoid the subject. After that, everybody continued to praise each other for how they defeated their opponents, and reflected on how fun today was. Everybody look, the sunset is beautiful. Sadako, getting even more excited, pointed, waiting where her finger indicated was an immense sunset, casting even longer shadows of us on our bikes. The cries of the Higurashi were gentle and very comforting. Not very often are there scenes where it just shows the background and then you have to click it in order for the end scene to happen. That happened one other time, and it was kind of clear that it was meant to build suspense and kind of make you reflect as well. Like, I've watched some people's playthrough on Higurashi here on YouTube, and like, it's a much different experience watching it than clicking through it. Even though it is just a story game, you don't have any choices in it. It's my whole thing is if it's available on Steam or something like that, then it's a video game. If it has a display and you are controlling some aspect of it, whether even if it's just progressing through it, like there's games like that all the time where you just like Cookie Clicker is an example I would think of, or like walking simulator games. Those are still games, whether you like it or not. Who is Mion's uncle? We heard about him before. And it seemed like, so they had a store that was selling school uniforms, but there were all kinds of school uniforms from different areas of the country, making it, to me, seem like they're the uniforms of like transfer students who transferred out. Yep, sorry. I suddenly got called. Well, it might not even be because I know shit gets crazy, but I don't know how much of that has to do with the curse or just like shit hitting the fan. I'm talking about the anime, but like maybe there are murders that are happening outside of the Watanagashi festival. Like people still go missing. Yep, sorry, I suddenly got called into my part-time job at my uncle's shop today. What's that? No club today, then? I'm sorry. Mion put her hands together in apology and grinned. If you really want to do club today, then you can always do it without this old man. The club locker is stuffed full of games. You can pick whatever. The club locker was a trans-dimensional space from which Mion pulled games whenever we met for club activities. I wondered how so many freaking games could be stored in that locker. It was even smaller than the one with the cleaning supplies in it. Besides those games, it was also a cornucopia of suspicious objects, costumes for punishment games. If we lined them all up on the floor in order to sort them, they would definitely fill the entire classroom. Nah, we shouldn't. I get the feeling that if I mess around in that locker, everything inside will come tumbling down on me. Yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe amateurs shouldn't meddle with this. Mion gave a hearty laugh, implying that the only one who could do so was the club president. Me? The teacher is looking for the key to the gym storehouse. Do you have any idea where it could be? That's where another bat was, if I remember right from the last chapter. He ended up getting the bat from Satoshi's locker in the last chapter. but he had plans to go to the gym storehouse. Eh? Did I not return it to the teacher's lounge? Neon said, feeling about in her pocket. Hi. Yes. Judging by her expression, she must have planned on returning it, but it was still in her pocket. I knew you had it, Neon-san. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you simply must have been the one who had it. I was right, too. Sadako and I were both right. Giggling, Sadako and Rika-chan clapped their hands together in celebration. You're annoying. Slap, clap. Neon elbowed Sadako and Rika-chan in their heads, then headed for the teacher's lounge. Oh right, have you two heard? Neon has a part-time job, and that's why she's not coming to the club. So, like, the hints are things that happened prior to the end of the chapter, I guess? Because it's like... Who's saying this? Oh, is that so? That's very droll of her. So very droll of her. Me. The two of them made disappointed faces. Whatever anyone said, Neon's club was always the number one thing I looked forward to when going to school. It wasn't hard to agree with their melancholic expressions after hearing it wouldn't be happening today. So, Neon's got a part-time job. I wonder what she's doing anyway. Whenever Neon canceled club, it was usually because of her job. However, it didn't seem like she went there every day. She would go 2 or 3 days in a row, then not go at all for a while. It sounded like a pretty damn random part-time job. She isn't working at any one shop or anything. She isn't? Then does she mean she's a day laborer? Neon, wearing socks and a helmet, sweating to death in a factory. I couldn't imagine such a thing. Neon-san helps her uncles out whenever their employees go on vacations. She's like a handyman. Ah, I get it. Now that you mention it, her having a job at her uncle's place. I think I've heard about that before. She has a lot of uncles who run their own shops, so Mi is in very high demand. She has a lot of uncles who own shops. A lot of them? Oh, you were unaware, Kage-san? There are many relatives of Neon-sans in Okonomiya who run their own stores. Huh, I didn't know that. So they're all different kinds? Yes. There's a bakery, a produce market, a ramen shop, and many others besides. That toy store we went to for the club the other day was one of them. I was dumbfounded. That's amazing. Is Neon's family blessed with some kind of crazy business sense? They run so many different things, it's kind of amazing. There are others like a loan shark, a land shark, a strip club, and a brothel. What I'm saying is they do a lot of things. Okay, a couple weird things came up that time, but still. I could tell it was pretty extensive. So the reason she's so fussy about returning money she lent you is because the blood of loan sharks runs through her veins, huh? That explains a lot. Once, I completely forgot to pay me back for money she gave me to go shopping, and she threatened me, saying if I didn't return it all, she'd throw me into the red light district and that would be the end of me. Jesus fucking Christ. Now we're getting fucking weird with this game. Rika-chan being sold into the entertainment industry to pay off her debts. Oh crap, my nosebleed. Keiichi... Oh my god. Fucking horrible. Disgusting. Dying by being thrown on the ground must be the silliest form of death I've ever heard of. Huh? She doesn't really get it, does she? Recently, she seemed so unspoiled. Rika-chan and I gave her a pat on the head. Why are you petting me? We're petting you because you're a good girl, Sadako. Sadako was lost in confusion, but she seemed to understand she was being made fun of. Okay. Can I not? That's weird that I can't go to the main menu. Right? I have to continue to the first one? Or, yeah, to the first of the next one. I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop for today. Make this a short stream. Oh, I already saved. Okay. Okay. Thursday? Yes. No. Thursday or Friday?